There we are. We're late after being early. Come on, Lisa. No, no, the fins are them maar. Where zijn ze? Where's that? Yeah, doe maar, want je komt even met me praten. Oh, Bonnie's being shy. After being early. Come on, Lisa. Oh, bastards. Seamus is here. He's on the floor. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. We have 3 people watching already. Good to see us all. It was a sunshiny Sunday, and then we had a bit of bad rain, and we've had absolutely horrible weather for like 4 days already, Bon. Storm, man, really storm. Dangerous to go to the forest. Bonnie was saying that one of the oak trees completely fell over. And there was 5 waiting just now, and as soon as they see my ugly mug, everybody bolts. Oh, it's not that bad. Come and join us. Come and join us. There we are. So we had unexpected visitors, and that's made things a little later than usual. And I'm expecting a couple of special people also to come and join us. And it's always fun. It's always fun on Sunday. I hope Paulie and Charlie, who hopefully might join us. Grumpy Lobster's a regular in the house. But there's another person who I was going to ask. Let me just find the link. Oh, yeah. Let me find the link first and give this to someone. A surprise guest, possibly. So let's just see if he wants to join us tonight. Would be interesting if he does. Would be very interesting. Followers. Let me just find this out now. Hang on. And we can talk about the. Oh, there he is. Revelation is okay. Oops. Let's send him. Let's give him a link. Let's Kaka, give him a link. There you go. And see if Revelation wants to come and join us. Who knows? Who knows? He might. He might just. The more the merrier. Although by the looks of it, I've scared everyone away. There was 5 people waiting, Bonnie. I show up and they all fuck off. Oh, welcome. Welcome to the mix. No, I'm not stupido, but anyway. Welcome to the mix. So let me just find out. Exit solo layout. Let me just see how this works. Oh, that's double. Okay, I wanted to find out how I can get my avatar working. And let's send Quasi my wingman a link. And cheer Quasi up a little bit. Okay, there you go. Quasimodo, Quasimonkey. It's always nice to hear Jeff. That little blonde guy. You know, that little blonde dude. Yeah, Jeff. The wingman. Okay, we'll see who shows up. So in the meantime, if nobody's going to show up, I'm going to smoke a bong. Sunday bong bunny, eh? Yeah. Why not spoil myself? Spoil myself. There we go. Shamey babies lying nice and quiet behind me here. Let me see. Let me get a certain person. Let's see. And a certain person. The ability to join us. There we go. So let's see. We'll see how many interesting people we have. Someone was asking me about Von Helton. I haven't been watching Von Helton in a while. I haven't caught much of it. I know he's hanging out with a few radical, Hasidic, on standby Jews, but that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that, man. Everybody's allowed to hang out with who they want to. But what was it? Oh yeah, I'd watched something like 2 minutes, Bonnie, of Von Helton yesterday, and what was it? It was something about eyes he was talking about, and when you go up in altitude, because the pressure increases so much, and I think, what a fucking idiot, man. That's the other way around, Eugene. But anyway, he doesn't want to live in Israel, Bonnie, because Israel's just for the Jews, according to Eugene. Oh, who said that? Oh, yeah, your friend said that. Yes, friends have said that. Yeah, yeah. They'd rather give vaccinations to pigs, and I mean, that's Jewish people, than to Palestinians. Have you ever? And that's the bizarre fact that Israel has, such an amazing record with amazing record. Maybe I'm choosing a little bit too much soup. Oh boy, are you expecting visiting, Bonnie? I'm not either. So let's say we just kick off, and as soon as you kick off, somebody's at the front door, which was the reason why I'm 3 hours too late. Unexpected visitors. So let's see who we have. Surprise guest again. Nell. Could it be Nell? Oh, it's Julia. Just a moment, because her mum's funeral was yesterday. She lived down the street. I just want to go and see her for a moment. Her mum died really unexpected. Give me one moment. Is that Julia, Bun? Is that Julia?
Julia Lee Curtis.
sorry I took so long, guys. Excuse me. I'm sorry I've taken so long. Our neighbour had passed away this week, and there's only a couple of people still here. So unexpectedly, and her funeral was yesterday morning, and her daughter and her husband are downstairs now um, to see about the house. So excuse me for taking so long, and I'll tell you about how Nell, story about Nell in a minute. She was a girlfriend of Bonnie's, 64, and like myself, got a unexpected diagnosis, and unfortunately, she wasn't. It was very quick. She had been given an emergency chemo cure, and she was going to be still around for the next 3 months, and she got so sick from it. I spoke to her last week, and it was a crazy bit about it, man. She's downstairs now, the oldest daughter, who I've spoken to earlier this week, and we were just talking about our children and how people and children deal with death, and I was telling her about how proud and how amazing my daughter was, how her mommy had prepared her so wonderfully, and reminded me so much of my own grandfather when he passed, and how I sort of didn't stray from my father's side. I mean, I remember I was so small that I was actually asked my dad, "Dad, what are those cotton wool things doing up his nose?" But um, we were just talking about the difference how some children can deal with it. She was saying about her little son, and out of the mouths of children, as it's said in scripture. And I was telling her about how proud, how unforgettable, my own daughter was with my mum. Those very special moments. And anyway, they're still downstairs, so I'm going to go in a moment and just say bye bye to them. But I told them I was talking to people upstairs, so please excuse me for being so long gone. But yeah, so as you see, in the midst of life, we're always surrounded by the one thing: taxes and death. Joe Black, and it was Nell was she had heavy COPD, and unfortunately she'd been to have a PET scan, and the PET scan had told her that the illness had spread completely throughout her system, but no one had expected her to pass so quickly. Although they had arranged with the palliative carers that she would have instead of one time a drink, the to have a euthanasia cure. They gave her midazolam, which is exactly the same drugs that they use actually in America for execution, and morphine, and they'd upped the doses, and they'd expected that in the day it would take the whole day, and that she would pass in the evening. And apparently, Julius just told me they had she had two shots, and she was talking to them, and 10 minutes later she was gone. But she was in severe pain, and I know a lot about it at the moment because my body's starting to feel a little bit more painful by the month. Although I had my blood tests on Thursday, my Thursday blood test, but you can't see it. And Tuesday I go to the specialist, so I'll find out on Tuesday, the values of my tests and how my illness is progressing. But I'm feeling otherwise fine, and there's some great changes and wonderful developments in my life, and that some people deal with death, and some, they're everyone in their own way, and dying also. And I'm very lucky to have Bonnie and people around me, and people here in Ireland that I know love me, and that I hope that they know the same back. But anyway, so I'm going to go down and I'll put on some music, but I will be back. And I'm not. Oh, we have someone in private chat. I'm going to read this. MS. Hey. Nice. Good to have you in the house. So like I said, Nell was only 64, but she had been a serious smoker, and I don't think she really gave up smoking all her life. And I remember hearing her coughing in the evening last summer, and oh my goodness, she just coughed the whole night. It was almost exhausting just listening to her cough. But Bonnie knows the family for years. I know them 30 years too. So let me have one more bong and then just go and say goodbye to them, and then I'll come back and hang out with you guys. My private chat person. Good to have you in the house also. And happy Mum's Day to everyone. Happy Mother's Day. Damn it, there's my gas gone. Damn it. So yesterday the lady who passed, our neighbour, was a Moluccan lady from the Dutch East Indies, and they have a tradition that, just like with my friend Ferry, where that photograph earlier on this year, they always go to their older house where they were born or brought up with the hearse, open the door of the hearse and open the house door with the tradition, or if for the spirit to leave the house. And her only son yesterday, so they stopped. So she only lives 3 doors down the street, and they did that, the ritual. Beautiful big silver hearse, and opened the door and opened the house door to let the spirit, leave. If you said, yeah, I'm just explaining. Oh, onze dochter in the camera. Maar hou dat even voor ons. Bonnie will be with us in a minute. So, ik kom er zo aan, Bonnie. So, what was I saying? Yeah, her oldest son. Anyway, that tradition, and the daughters, they were crying so much yesterday. Just would break your heart. And the weather, we had this horrible weather this last 3 or 4 days, and really heavy hailstorms. So anyway, just when everyone in the street, just like my mum, which moved me so much, all the people who came from the neighborhood and far also, we all were waiting in the street for the hearse. We all knew how late it was coming, and it just was heartbreaking just to listen to the 3 daughters cry. Just sad. But like I said, in the midst, no one lasts forever. We're only here for a little wait, just a short, brief moment, and it's, you make what you make of it, and each community, each culture deals with death in their own way, and no one had expected Nell to pass this quickly. It was just we had thought, okay, she's had a PET scan the way I did. Okay. Yeah, in StreamYard. Oh yeah, I've given you the link. Yeah, I seen your chat. I did see your chat in the private chat just now. Good that you're still with me. Good. Bonnie's going to come and join me in a moment, because just like this afternoon, unexpected visits, and cool that you're still with me. And I'm sure Quasi's come and join us so much in a moment. Someone sent me a video today of this black lady, quite a beautiful young black lady, coloured lady, running down the streets of inner city Dublin in the buff in her birthday suit. Boy, oh boy, Dublin in the rare old times, eh? Anyway, our night curfew has been extended, damn it, for another 2 weeks. So, yeah, she'll be up in a moment. So she will. Like I said, they won't be staying long. We just dropped in, and actually I said, come on inside, because it's rotten. There's no sunshine anymore. It's rotten weather at the moment outside. So I could see your chat in the private chat. So if you want to join me there, then I don't have to zip back and forward to between Twitter. But anyway, yeah, go on ahead. Well, I'm going to stay here for a moment and hang out with you guys, and because they won't be staying very long, and I'll go down just before they leave. Go and make your tea and come back. I'll be here. Take your time. Take your time. Hey, Sidechain, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you. I was talking about you today, actually, with Bonnie also. I hope. How's your sister? That's what we were wondering about. How's your sister keeping? And what's the story with her treatment? Is it available, or is it still, slowly catching monkey? Because we were talking about that story we spoke about the last time we were talking Sidechain about the two young ladies who passed, and I couldn't fathom. Yesterday all of a sudden it dawned on me: could their doctors or specialists not have said, hey, we need your, this is a terminal state of your illness. Can you not go private? Was there no private options for those two ladies? Obviously, there mustn't have been. Perhaps their passing wasn't as expected as rapidly as it was. But I was, sharing again with Bonnie yesterday about how your sister had become so afraid because of that article, and we were hoping and thinking about you and thinking about her. And like I say, is her treatment still working, or is it, she's doing okay? So she starts treatment 3 weeks. Okay, all right. Tell her we were thinking about her and talking about her. So if your ears went warm yesterday, it was because we were chatting about you. And like I said, I couldn't figure out. I'll have to look up that article again about those two young ladies. I think one was in her late 20s and the other girl was about 21. I'm not sure specifically what type of cancer they had, but one of them was just an absolute beauty, man. She was a beautiful looking woman, man, or young woman. Oh, your side chick. I mean, even though we just typed for years with, you're very dear to my heart. So, like I said, we were talking yesterday about you and her, and I was telling Bonnie about, she knew about that article I told her, and someone else, there's a couple of people hanging in here, even though it only says there's no one here. Um, Obviously, you are, Sidechain. How's things with you? We've had a week of just absolute horrible weather. I mean, serious storms, big bad time storms. I mean, hail. I mean, I thought our roof was going to blow away this week. Um, yeah, and what was the story? Do you think, Uh, what was the story? Was there no option of private treatment for them? Because I remember when my mum was waiting on her heart valve replacement, that there was such a long list that she ended up going to this hospital in Scotland that was owned by, I think it was the United Arab Emirates. It was a private hospital that had been a national health hospital, had a hotel at the hospital. My dad could stay there, and it was kind of private, but my mum got it on the national health because it was such an urgent case and the waiting list was so long. She got that option to go to this hospital that normally probably she would have to pay privately for. Welcome other visitors and other guests. Anyone who would like to join us, let me give you the link. Uh, but like I said, were there doctors not possible that they could say, hey, you know what, girls, even though the National Health Service is off its knees at the moment and crawling to get people treated, um, you know what, we're going to try and get you a private option or something. Every case is different, of course, but just so tragic that people are, succumbing to illnesses that normally otherwise would be treated, but because of this damn fucking virus, that everything's, like I say, it's all over the place. We have at the moment we're still under night curfew. So we're only actually we're illegal at the moment. Oh boy, don't call the cops because we have two visitors downstairs. Officially, you're only allowed one visitor at the moment. We're on a night curfew from 8:30 to 5:30 in the morning. You are allowed out, but you have a reason if you're going. You're working a night shift, or you've got to go and see your mom. I can let my dog out. If I walk the dog and the cops stop me, man, I mean they're not going to write me a ticket up for walking the dog. And I know in the Republic of Ireland that they have really a lot stronger restrictions than we have in Holland. You can go out here anytime you want. You do have to wear a mask in shops, of course. And if you don't have a mask, they'll give you. I was at the hospital on Thursday. Masks, hand sanitizing, of course, all necessary required. I don't have a problem wearing a mask at all, man. I don't. Absolutely no problem. Um, but like I said, my treatment just goes ahead as normal. There was only one true total cope. Yeah, exactly. And that amount that they have in the States side chain of like 500,000, I'm sure it's double that, if not three double. I really believe that nursing home deaths. There's some states, Republican states would prefer not to have the death tolls up. I remember in Florida, DeSantis had asked the head of the health statistics to fudge the statistics. She refused. She got fired because they didn't want the failings in Florida that were going on about 6 months ago to become so known. So I agree with you completely. I think that it'll take years to find out what the true death toll is. You still have experts who say it's just a really rotten flu, and others who are absolutely not protagonists of that mindset. I mean, the last time we were really ill was in Ireland with the swine flu, the year my father died, and that was about 5 years after, 13, 7 years. No, that was in the year mommy died. It was 2007, 2008. And it was, they called it the bird flu or SARS or swine flu. And geez, we were sick for 3 days, man. I was really sick for 3 days. My wonderful family, we were home to nurse our dying mum. And um, for 3 days, we didn't eat and drink or anything, man. We just, you could literally take the duvet from the bed and just squeeze the sweat out of it, man. We felt really ill. So I haven't been sick since that, and knock on wood. But people here on the street in front of us have had it, and of course survived. Fortunately, young Caitlin's about 15, and I mean, she's a young kid in her 15, in her teens, and she was getting some alterations done with Bonnie a few weeks ago. Beautiful young child, and Caitlin was saying, I can normally dance for 3 or 4 hours. She danced in a dance group, and she said, we were out dancing the other night, and after 20 minutes, I was bust. So that's from a 15-year-old kid. So it definitely does leave a lot of damage in your body, and I really don't want to get it. I asked my cancer specialist last time. Actually, last time I normally would go every week, 8 weeks, but because my blood was a bit dodgy the last time, she's moved it up to 6 weeks, and she can just tell on my blood values, how my illness is progressing. But I asked her, because I've got an immune compromised illness, should I avoid the vaccination? She said no, if you get it. But the way they're dealing with it in Holland is it's by age. First, of course, all nursing and care personnel and teaching staff and stuff have the availability of getting the vaccination, but it's now because all care personnel, nursing staff, and so have already had it. It's now from the 80s, and it's going down by age. So Bonnie's 64 now, so she's expecting within the next few weeks that she'll be getting, oproep in Dutch, a heads up for the availability of getting her first shot. Although it's the availability of it here in Holland hasn't been what it should be. For a small country of 16 million, it's been a bit of a fucking botched job, to be honest with you. Our Minister of Health, Hugo de Groot, who apparently is a cookie pokey kind of dude. He's not done the greatest job of making the availability of the vaccination options for us. I think we are still here with the AstraZeneca, so I don't know what the UK, what version you're getting in the UK. But you can read, very positive reports about it, and at the same time, you can read, oh, so and so got it and they died a couple of hours later, or whatever. But it's every vaccination. My dad got the flu jab a few years ago, and it nearly killed him. So it's of course you're getting a bit of the disease pumped into you. So, and apparently it takes a lot longer than normal for these corona antibodies to be made. Normally they're made within hours. And with corona, apparently it takes days to weeks, and the antibody count has been a lot lower than. There you go. So, how are you keeping, Blaine? Are you working? Are you allowed to go to work, or are you stuck at home also in the UK? Because I know there's a lot of something happened yesterday in Clapham. Also, I haven't looked into it, but I know there was a demonstration yesterday in Clapham Common. And I've been reading a lot of uproar about it on Twitter. Boy, oh boy, a lot of apparently the police had to involve themselves pretty hard-handedly. and I believe there was a lot of women involved in the demonstration itself, and apparently it got brutal. So I haven't immersed myself in the details of it yet, but I know, someone chewed my face off a couple of weeks ago on Twitter for, just saying, hey, listen, if I have to wear a mask outside or at hospital, I don't have a problem with that, man. This guy went nuts, and he said, you live in a dystopian nightmare, and, I need to stand up. And there was this anti-vaccination, anti-corona sort of conspiracy group had actually taken the government to court and challenged the night curfew, whether it was legal or not. And they actually asked everyone who supported them, to take to the streets that night and celebrate and defy the Corona night curfew, which I think about 400 did. And I mean, even if you go out in your car and the police are in the city, I don't think they're going to chase after you and stop you. But if you're having a party in the street and a little bit too many people, well, then they probably will take a check and see what's going on. But I don't know anyone who's been fined. I'm not sure even what the fine is. And I know in the Republic of Ireland, I believe you're only allowed out once a week, to do shopping. They're pretty tight about it. You're not allowed to travel in the south. If you live in Dublin, your aunt lives in Galway, you're not allowed to go and visit her on her birthday in Ireland. I think you have to get permission to be able to. But there's someone who can tell us a little better in a moment. She's not here right now, but she'll be back in a few moments, and she'll be able to, fill me in exactly what the restrictions are in the Republic of Ireland. But I know in the UK that people are losing their incomes. I'm sure, as the toll that Blaine said to me, will be much worse than this. The black and white statistics are telling us at the moment. And I'm sure for small businesses that this is going to be just literally the death knell for thousands of small businesses will just go under and never be able to survive this. And here you can get anything in the shops. The only shops that are allowed to open are shops that are a necessity, and each country judges that by their culture. I mean, in France, cafe tabac kiosks, newspaper shops are open. Here they're not. The tobacco shop down the street here, down the tunnel, is not open, and she's not happy about it. But they get a government subsidy, of course. But I know in Great Britain that there are people that are literally starving. I know that there are, suicide rates are just absolutely escalating. Although suicide in Great Britain, and specifically very much so in Northern Ireland, has been a curse on society this last decennia. Terrible suicide rates in Ulster under young men, and not just predominantly men, but suicide rates are shockingly high. I think actually in Great Britain, did I read last week, much to my approbation, that one of the number one causes of death between young men was in fact suicide, which is pretty shocking. Sad state of affairs, man. It was a vigil for the girl murdered by a cop. Okay, it was a Reclaim the Streets gathering. Well, you've been working all the way through and you've been busy with work. Well, good for you, man. I'm glad to hear that your income's still okay. Okay, I do know a little bit about that girl. She was walking home and she got murdered by a policeman, which is just absolutely horrific, shocking. And it was a Reclaim. Okay, I didn't know what the goal and what the reason was, but now I do, thanks to you, Blaine. Yeah, what a story. Yeah, I haven't immersed myself very much into that story of the death of that poor person, but I mean, bad enough getting murdered, but getting murdered by a policeman. But then again, someone had sent me an potato head video of a police cadet that they caught at a railway station at 12 at night, expecting a 9-year-old boy to come and stay with him, and who knows what he was planning on doing with this kid. I mean, seriously, he was 19, a police cadet at a railway station somewhere in Surrey or Sussex, I believe, southern England, at 12 at night. And, it was a sting, what do they call them? Decoys. I mean, the idiot literally thought that a 9-year-old child would be traveling on his own at 12 for his fucking insidious, perverted reasons. He was standing waiting there. And then they found out, oh, he had his uniform underneath his coat because he wanted to impress this 9-year-old kid who didn't exist. 19-year-old guy. Whilst waiting in court, they caught him again on Grinder with a 13-year-old kid. And I mean, state of affairs, people who are into that, man, is just fucking shocking, man. Absolutely shocking. I mean, what idiots. 9-year-old child. Can you believe it, man? How sick are people these days? And I mean, idiots standing in a railway station, absolutely no one there, 20 past 12, expecting some 9-year-old child to show up at the railway station so he can go home with this fucking pervert and have his way with him, man. How scary is that, eh? And then, not only, they've learned and destroyed his life completely, you would think, and never want to go anywhere near a computer ever again. The monster, got caught 3 months later before he even got to court for doing exactly the same on Grindr with a 13-year-old kid. Shocking, man. And I mean, if you go to those Sting sites, man, I mean, every single day they have 3 or 4 of these fucking nonce perverts, man, that they bust via decoys and, this sort of perverted justice thing. Hello, take a seat. My name's Mr. Hanson. And I was shocked by it. But this kid was 19-year-old, and obviously he didn't realize, what effect this. A police cadet. Oh man! But I mean, just because policemen wear uniforms, I know there's a story of a guy in the States who is involved with the disappearance of 2 men who he arrested, didn't arrest, left, give them a lift, brought them to a gas station and said that he let them out at the gas station, and these 2 guys have been gone. And this guy, a cop also, and he's suspected, they can't prove it, but they know for sure he has a major role in the disappearance of these 2 men and just abusing his uniform. It's that classic horrible movie, Bad Cop, and there's nothing as bad as a bad cop, man. Yeah, so what happened, Blaine? The police seem to have interceded or interjected themselves on that demonstration in a very hard-handed manner, I believe. That's the general drift I'm getting off Twitter anyway. I'll have to really look into this story because it's something I should know about, really. And it's a sin not to know the ins and outs of it, but apparently it was a very hard-handed reaction from the police force to prevent other people from being harmed. I believe was the main reason that they said that they had to, intercede or batter the shite out of people, basically. I seen the same in Dublin, a video in Dublin a couple of weeks ago of this rat unit charging a gang or group of people demonstrating, and this one cop by accident beating the crap, beating this other cop by accident around the legs 3 or 4 times. And I thought to myself, man, you just got a little bit too carried away there and didn't really figure out who was the right ones to beat the crap out of with your long nightstick. Yeah, I'll have to look into that story, Blaine, about that girl who was murdered. I read just briefly a headline about it, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I mean, fucking shocking, man. And like I said, this guy, this police cadet, then of course his lawyer, when he actually, hang on, I'll say that out of these people. Hang on. Julia, Bauke, sterk bij jullie. Kom maar, Bauke. Beste jongen. Jojo. There we are. We just had unexpected visitors who had buried their mum yesterday, Blaine. So I'd said to the oldest daughter this week earlier that we had already received a notification letter about her mum's passing, and she was so taken up and everything, she didn't register anyway. But I read that part in England about small businesses, this diseases, and will be an absolute apocalypse on small businesses. They'll never recover. I don't think the economy is going to, I think seriously we will have, the world before Corona and the world, and I wonder if it ever is really going to go away. That's the next question. Will it ever really be able to go away? Because you get these ever stronger variants that are, at the moment playing an ugly role in different countries. The Brazilian variant, the British variant, you have a South African strain apparently, which is really potent also. So I wonder what type of world, and will it just get worse? Will these, it's like antibiotics and MRI and that those hospital flesh eating viruses that basically every antibiotic that they strengthen and develop a new one within a couple of weeks, this virus just will mutate and make an even potenter version of itself. So it's going to be interesting to see what the reality of our world will be, pre-corona and post-corona. And you have it's of course absolute fodder for conspiracy nut jobs like David Icke. It's 5G or G5. I'm not sure. Mark will tell me about it. The 5G telephone system. There's people that actually believe that has something to do with corona. It's like Von Helton yesterday. I caught like 2 minutes of his Erev Shabbat. Oh boy, Von's converting to Judaism. Of his Erev Shabbat, or maybe it was his Saturday open hangout about Maya's eyes and something to do with Von Helton. I just caught him saying, yeah, well, of course, the higher you go, the more pressure's involved. Von. You really aren't a mathematics wizard or any sort of common sense wizard, because the higher you go, the less pressure there is, you idiot. Yeah, I don't think the world's ever going to be the same again, Blaine. And like I say, will we ever be able to get rid of it? I mean, there's people of conspiracy nuts. My hair's growing again where my tumors starting to stick up, the bits that went bald and fell out with radiotherapy. It's growing back really quickly. So I've got these little bits that stick out now. If that's the worst of it, I'll survive. But, people who believe that 5G has got something to do with it. There's other people who, say it was brought to China by the American Army. According to Von Helton, the Rothschilds, took out a patent on it 4 or 5 years ago. It was created by man. And, there is a story of it leaking out of a virus lab in Wuhan. I have no idea. All I know is I don't want to have it. I don't want to get it. And I hope it's soon, our planet will be rid and free from it. But because of these ever-growing mutant strains, I wonder if that's a realistic option. I remember when my mom was dying, you had those hospital viruses, and every story of the hospital you went to, you had to sanitize your hands just like you do today, because this was, what was it, M or E, and I forget the other was C difficile. That was the name of it. I remember even in Amsterdam and Rotterdam, they actually had outdoor clinics and wards in tents because of this hospital bug. I mean, I knew a guy who went to hospital with a small infection in his leg, and this was a big fucking martial arts dude, muscle buff, toned and all the rest, 6'4", and 4 days later, man, he got the same one of these hospital viruses, gone, dead, over. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you have Rudy, my friend, who I think one of my last videos was actually playing a lament with Rudy for his late brother, one of my best friends who passed last year in May. And Rudy was the same. Rudy had this tickly rash around the backs of his hands and behind his knees. Went to the doctor. Doctor told him to go to the hospital. And Rudy woke up 6 weeks later, -2 legs and -8.5 fingers and thumbs. He only has 1.5 fingers and a stumpy thumb on one hand, and I don't even think he has on the other any. And his legs are gone beneath his knees, and that was the result of that hospital virus. He got that flesh-eating virus, and it literally ate him up. He told me last thing he remembered was looking at his toes, and they were already turning black within hours. It was, what was it, 4 centimeters per hour. It was chewing him up, man. So they literally just had to cut him off, like gangrene. And Rudy's a big, he plays wheelchair rugby for Holland. He literally plays for the national team here. And he's a great dude. Oh man, he's not let it keep him back. I seen the one real stories video about the British guy who got exactly the same. And the same with him. Lost his legs, lost his arms and hands, lost his hands from here above the wrist. And his, have you ever seen that English guy? He has this white. It's like a sort of, black and backwards reverse negative of black and white minstrels. He's got this white, skin graft for lips because it chewed his lips up. Also, oh, so sad, man, so sad. Same story. Ill, goes to hospital and wakens up half a person later. But let me show you Rudy. And Rudy's never let it keep him down. I'll give him the respect for that. And even with 1.5 fingers and half a thumb, he's still playing the guitar. He can walk on his hands, man. Like, I laughed at him getting off his wheelchair here and go to the toilet when he was here the last time. I said, he's like a fucking cat, man. He's seriously like a cat. And let me play this for you guys and show you guys. This is Rudy, and this was a little something he had put together for his late brother, Ferry, who was one of our very best friends. So let me just share this with you. And like I said, this is what happened to Rudy. And woke up and half of Rudy back. Let me show you. And like I said, plays guitar like. So let me show you this. This is amazing, man. Let me show you. Let's put it a little bigger.
Yeah, okay.
Here you go.
Yeah, okay. Moet je hem indrukken, liever? Nee, draai dan. Heb ik hem zo goed, Steve? Heb ik hem zo goed?
I'd never heard it before. This was the first time I heard it playing. So I'm just improvising with him. And you can see he's got a thumb on one hand and 1.5 fingers on the other.
Heel mooi gestild. Zo. Ja, heel lang, hè? Het is een klaargelegd van je hart.
Ja, het is,
Absoluut niet beautiful. Echt waar.
het is net als ik speel, dan dat zweef ik het.
Ja, dat kan je horen ook.
Zo, ja.
Dat hoor je ook, Rudy, hoor.
Vegetatief, hè.
Ja, het
Heel
is...
mooi gestild.
Ik dacht van, ja, toen probeer ik daar, toen denk ik, ja, niet groene grepen. Ik dacht van, ik moet gewoon dit wat voor verder van.
Het is heel eenvoudig, maar nog zo schoon.
Het is heel eenvoudig.
Ja, heel mooi, maar Rudy. Ja, soms is het meest eenvoudig met een gebrek aan heel weinig noten. Is het kunst om het te kunnen mooi maken, hè? Dat doe je heel mooi hier, man. Het is heel rustgevend ook trouwens, hè? Of vind je niet? Heel special. Ach, kijk, Seamus vindt het ook. Ja. Ja, dat heeft Rudy voor zijn broertje gespeeld, voor zijn broer. Rudy van Ferry.
En dan soms speel ik, en dan ben ik thuis en speel ik het zo mooi. En dan kijk ik van als je met verdriet zeg maar. Mooi.
Ja, het is heel schoon. Het is zeker heel schoon.
Het is gewoon van je eigen, hè?
Ja, van je hart uit, jongen, daar hoor je over.
Ik kan zelfs dat iemand het speelt dat het niet eens goed uitkomt. Maar het is gewoon.
Doe maar nog een keertje even, man. Dat vind ik prachtig.
Like I say, he's not let it keep him back in any way. He's a big, buff, muscular guy, man. And actually, before his brother passed away, he asked me, I want to make some music with you. And I went, sure, that's fine. And let me show you. This is his brother, and Rudy, and myself, and another Moluccan guy. These are Moluccan from the Dutch East Indies. And this was almost a year ago. And darling, Ferry's he's gone ahead of us. Let me share you this one, man. This is also just as Ferry, he said, I really want to record of us. So here we go. So this is Rudy's brother. He's gone on ahead and Ferry.
Bring her to me. Her name is Lola.
Jamming session, man. enough. You can't see Ferry in here. Let me show you Ferry. This is Ferry. Last Christmas. He spent last Christmas with us. That's Ferry. My oldest friends. 200 years of friendship. Jan Boonstra, my oldest buddy here. Ferry, 35 years. And Yolanda, who I know from Israel as a kid. And 200 years of friendship. And Ferry, we were so honored that Ferry, look at him smiling, that he asked us, can I spend Christmas with you guys? And he ate his Christmas dinner like a Trojan, man. And the funny part about it was he was in a lot of pain at this stage. You know, he has terminal 4 lung cancer and had spread all through him. And he said to me afterwards, he said, Steve, you know what, man? After we played some music, my pain left. And I was, you know, just taken away by the fact that music distracted him enough that he didn't have any pain. And I remember actually telling the doctor, because the doctor would come and see him every other day. And we were playing music one day when the lady doctor arrived. And she was kind of surprised at, you know, how good he could play. And he told her that in my company. He said, you know, doctor, I was with Steve over Christmas. And, you know, last Christmas we thought about him. He committed euthanasia, you know, because it's okay here. You can have euthanasia in Holland. And he chose Monday, the 5th of May, which is Bevrijdingsdag. It's VE, Victory in Europe Day here in Holland. We were, you know, liberated on the 5th of May, and the day before was Remembrance Day. So we went to see him that day, and it broke my heart. I had a lot of difficulty keeping my tears back because I knew, you know, I prayed with him. I asked me to pray for him in Hebrew, and, you know, I asked him, stay by the light. And, you know, if we, when our time comes, you can be there and help us, you know, guide us on your way. And, you know, it's so emotional knowing I won't see my friend again and he will be dead in 24 hours. And he never complained ever once, man. And this guy was a heavy cover. And he didn't even smoke at the end. And after the day of his funeral, like I just said earlier on, Moluccan people have this tradition that the hearse will drive to their home where they were born or lived in as a child. They'll open the door, and it's to let the spirit out of the house, and, you know, for the spirit to go with them. And when that happened at Ferry's house, I thought they were going to bring him in. I wasn't quite sure, but they didn't take him into the house. They headed off to the crematorium and the funeral. Let's say the funeral parlor, the funeral. What's the word? Service. And so I chased behind. I got this just one moment. It was just a moment of, you know, I don't want to say that because I'd been to see him on Monday when he had passed, and he was still warm. He looked like he was sleeping. And, you know, he told me a couple of weeks before, it won't be long anymore, Steve. And he had told me, you know, on Monday I'm going to have a drink and then I'll be gone. And so we went Sunday night to see him. And like I said, it's so surreal knowing, you know, next time I see my friend, he won't be here. And like I said, on Monday I went and his family had laid him out, and he looked great, man. He looked like he was sleeping. He was still warm. So I said my goodbyes to him then. And what I wasn't aware of was they had kept awake the whole week. What a fucking really, you know, life, you know, vivacious conversations we're having today, eh? Anyway, in the midst of life, as they say. But anyway, I was waiting at Ferry's, you know, his parents' home where he had grown up in, and wasn't born there. He was actually born in a Nazi transportation camp, and the first part of his life was brought up there, where Anne Frank had been deported from. So, big silver hearse, big Chevrolet hearse came to his house. We were waiting there. They did the same thing. They opened the hearse. They opened the door of the house. They gave him a couple of minutes, and then they closed the door and they drove off. And I thought, oh wow! I thought they were taking Ferry into his house. So I got this spur of the moment thing, and I followed. So I followed the cortege, everyone in their cars and stuff, and I followed on my bobber to the funeral home, and I parked my bike and I went, and they had opened the hearse, the door, and it was before even people had got out. And I just, you know, all I wanted to do was just, you know, have stroke his casket and say bye bye, my friend. Anyway, so I went back to my bike. And this lady from the funeral, the undertaker said, do you want to come up with your bike? And I said, no. And this other guy said, mate, come up. And they had a professional photographer there. And this guy took a photograph, and they have now they made a photo montage of Ferry's life and his funeral service. And the first photograph of the funeral service is this photograph. And the moment I seen it last May, I'm not so much as of a symbolic thinker. I think I told you about this, Blaine. Let me see if I can share this. But the moment I seen this photograph, I found it a profound photograph. Oh yeah, I can do it this way. Hang on. I can share it with you. And for me, it was a little scary, actually. I found it pretty scary because, you hear me talk Dutch. I'll speak some Hebrew also for you because I have someone in the moment who's in the room who also speaks Hebrew. So I'll let you hear me speak in Hebrew for a second. Hang on. So I think I told you about this, Blaine. Check out this photograph, man. And for me, it was so symbolic. It was a little scary because this guy from The Undertakers stood, and they had a professional photographer there. So his daughter sent the photograph to me, and I was really freaked out by the photo because everything is, a question of perspective. From which side are you going to look at a glass half full, the glass half empty? But what I seen in it was me with my tree of life and Ferry with his tree of life. And Ferry's tree of life was behind death's door. The Undertaker standing in between us as a mediator, and my bobber's front wheel's all that's left of my life. So I actually wrote that on Twitter. I actually said, oh, holy shit, I hope I've got more than my front wheel left. But if I don't, it's been a wild ride. Someone else said to me, Jan Boonstrom, my old friend, said to me, you know what? It could be the other way around. You've got the whole bike still ahead of you. And I went, okay. And then that was in May. And literally within 8 weeks, you then get diagnosed with incurable cancer, right? What a prophetic. And I'd shared it with my daughter, and I'd shared it. And Bonnie said, it's Steve, you're only. And I mean, I'm not really that symbolic a thinker, but this photo was such a symbolic photograph for me. And his daughter and the family, that was the first photograph they put in the montage of Ferry's funeral and his funeral service, was me with the motorbike and Ferry's hearse. And let me share it with you. You'd have a look at it here. And like I said, I seen our trees of life, death's door, the hearse's door, and Ferry behind death's door already, and me on this side of it. And like I said, here's the link to it. I don't think I can share it. Maybe I can. Hang on, let me try and see if I can share it this way. Yeah, I should be able to, I think. I might. Let me try. And then we'll get off this subject because we don't want to become all that morbid. But let me just share this, and then we'll get into a different subject because I have someone from Jerusalem in the room at the moment. Erev Tov, מה שלומך? מעניינים מה חדש, מותק שלי. Okay, let me see. Yeah, here. Okay, here we go. Check out if we can share this with you. I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, there you go. So there's my tree of life, and I've got the front wheel left, the Undertaker between us, Ferry's tree of life behind death's door, and this guy standing right in between us. Like I said, oh shit, I've only got the front wheel left. But my buddy said, nah, you've got the rest of the bike to go. And it doesn't matter if I keel over in a minute. I've had a brilliant ride, man. I've had a fantastic time. I've had an amazing life. And I have nothing to complain about. So there you go. That's the end of that. Let's, it's like Joe Black, Death in Texas, the only thing that's certain in life. So let's get off that subject and into some other stuff. And בשביל החבר שלי של ירושלים, תגיד לי משהו חדש. הכל בסדר איתך? אצלי הכל בסדר. רגל פה, רגל שם, יושב על הגדר. יושב על הגדר. Yeah. This is where I start getting mixed up with German and Hebrew. אצלי הכל בסדר, כן. אני מרגיש בסדר, אני מרגיש טוב מאוד. תודה רבה לך. אני לא יודע. לא, אין לי עבודה עכשיו, לא. יש לי בוני והבית והכלב. אני מרגיש בסדר מאוד, ויש לי שנים שאני חושב, אני חושב. אבל מי יודע. תודה רבה לך בשביל השאלה. כן. ומה שלומך? מעניינים בארץ? הכל בסדר? אני... לא, תגיד לי. כן. יכול להיות בפרייבט צ'אט, גם כן. כן, יכול להיות. או באחרון צ'אט. Yeah, alrighty. Okay, back to English. All right. So, like I said, Bonnie should be joining me. Where is she? She's downstairs. It was nice just to be able to talk to Julia just now anyway. So, like I said, we've had horrible weather and we are predicted, we have predicted really cold later on this week. So, I really feel sorry for all the insects that, woken up early because of that really mild spell we had a couple of weeks ago. And now I have to, we were up in the forest today, forest like 2 minutes away from us here. And wow, you're almost taking your life in your hands. But, God, here we go again. By going into the forest because so many trees there's this huge oak tree. I mean, some of the oak trees in our forest are 600-700 years old. It's a really ancient old, left over the nature forest. But last year, Seamus almost got fucking completely keeled over by a falling branch. And it's not so much in the storm, it's a couple of days after the storm when the branches have sort of been damaged and, half broken and then are going to fall off. But there's one huge tree. And, the good thing about living next to a forest is you don't have to look far for firewood. You just have to cart it home, that's all, and then cut it up when you get home, which we do. I mean, we were just talking about, the consumer life that we live in, the world of consumerism and, consume. It's like a nephew of me, iPhone 1, iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6. I think we're up to number 11 now, maybe 12, I don't know. And how our children are brought up to consume without any real contemplation over what does it cost to make the product? What are you doing with your old product? And, do you really need it? Do you really, really need it? And Bonnie and I were just commenting, just about, oh yeah, and by the way, that other very special person, I wanted to show you something. Check out this photograph I haven't shared with you yet. Check out this photograph. Tell me who you think that this is. You can't see it so much there. Yeah, you can see it a little better that way. Not really close enough. It's a beautiful photograph of the period. And have a think of who you think that might be. Unfortunately, my focus is not fantastic. Anyway, and I don't think I had shared this one with you yet. I wonder if you like my trendy Furstenberg German braces. I hadn't shared that one with you either. Check out Mommy in that one, Granny in that one. Hey, I hadn't shared that one, I don't think. But anyway, we were talking about, the consumer, the world of consumerism that we live in today and stuff. And we had figured out that probably 90% of everything that we have in our house has been from someone else, was owned by someone else once. There's practically nothing new here. Everything is, not from a thrift store or stuff, but all our furniture has been recycled. Everything, all my books were either going to be, shredded for toilet paper and stuff. And I mean, I have some beautiful books. I have books that cost hundreds of dollars, man. And I saved them for like 10 cents from being shredded into toilet paper, which is a damn shame. Some of my books are just pieces of art in themselves. And everything that we have, from our Persian carpets downstairs to our leather couches to every piece of furniture. This is from Ferry, my friend we were just talking about. Our washing machines from Ferry. Everything that we have in our house has had a life and, done its task for someone else. And now it's doing it for us. And I don't have a problem with that at all, man. I mean, when my son, he lives a couple of streets down, when he had got his new house about 3 years ago, I had a really nice couch, Chesterfield with 2 chairs, and you can have it if you want it. It's in the garage, and nope. He had a new couch, cost like 4,500, white, nice couch and stuff, with a recliner and the corner unit and all the rest. But I mean, white. Just had a new child, a little girl, my first grandchild, and I was kind of going, maybe white's not the best idea for. But I mean, Bonnie brings me treasures home every other day, man, and some of the stuff she brings home is just absolutely amazing. It would otherwise just be thrown into the landfill, and I'll find a use for it. She brought this to me. She bought it for 50 cents. This beautiful little India box with all these cute little. Oh boy, what did I find in there? I didn't know I had. Let's take that out before I show you guys. It's a really cute little India box that was going to be thrown into a landfill. And it's practically new. It's got one crack in it. Okay, big deal. I got some beautiful Arab teacups also. But I mean, really nicely made little box and with little cuticles and stuff. And 50 cents. I don't mind it being from someone else before. I have no problem with that whatsoever, man. I really don't. In fact, I find it kind of nice that it has served its purpose for someone else before, and it's now doing that with me. And some people, I can understand, if you're buying underwear and that sort of stuff that you want new. Oh Jesus, there he goes, Freddie's going. I can understand you want new of that, of course. My underwear is new, but I mean, my leather breeches, $25 at the secondhand Rose, $25. They were brand new, but I have a Parker, €650. My Parker cost, brand spanking new, bad boys, eiderdown Parker. I paid €2 for it, man. It was brand new, and we used to live next to the thrift store back in our old apartment. And I'm serious, 600. The price tag was still inside it. €650, eiderdown. And I mean, this Parker's so cool. It's even got a pocket at the back with its own little rucksack that you can put it in. And it's got its own internal pilot's jacket before you put, the Parker on top. $650, man. €2. There you go, €2. So, people say, oh, you're a tight ass bastard. Maybe that's one way of looking at it, but it's not that I don't have the $650 to buy the Parker, but hey, if you can get it for $2 and it's brand new, why wouldn't you? I mean, hey, let me show you, man. I'm not sure if it's here. I think it is. Move this stuff without destroying too much. Yeah, there you go. This is one of my Parkers. This was Bad Boys, and why was it rejected? It was rejected because it was missing one button. I still have actually the price label in it. Missed a button, and like I said, it's got its own internal jacket inside it, and it's got its own secret little bag here inside it also. It's kind of huge. $650, brand spanking new. Stevie's bargain basement, €2. And a really cool Parker, man. It's one of the 4 or 5 Parkers I have. It's even got its own little hood, its own big hood. Like I said, 600 eiderdown, if you please. Check it out. It's even got its own internal jacket first. That means you've got insulated from the inside. Very nice. Big puffy thing, man. Full of eiderdown. €2. Okay, that's going in my basket, in my bargain basement. Okay, it's not really, the make that I would buy myself if I was choosing a Parker. I just, Bad Boys, the label. I'm not sure if it's a well-known label or not. It's well-known enough for me to buy it for $2, I'm telling you. Like I said, I don't have a problem with that stuff. Everything in our house, well, maybe not our CD collection. My Arab lantern there, this one found on the street, ready to go to the garbage collector. Literally on the street a couple of weeks ago. Bonnie brought it home from her morning walk. Bargain, man. See, this one here, I mean, literally found on the street. I don't mind it at all. Was a bargain. I actually bought another one at the same store, and it was a Tenson jacket, the company Tenson, and it actually still has the price in it also. was 600, reduced to 400, reduced to 200, and sold to Steve for €3. And I bought my dad, same company, same make, only a blouse and version of it, same jacket, 30 years ago. And my dad had it until he died, man. And it's, Tenson's this sort of like mountaineering brand, this Airtex company, material. Let me show you, man. I'm serious. I actually have the price. It's still in it. It's one of these, breathable mountaineering jackets. Let me see what the price is. I did have the price tag still in it. Let's see. It's got like 35 pockets that you don't need. Not sure where it is. Maybe Bonnie took it out to wash it. Oh yeah, she did wash it, so she probably took it out. I'll ask her in a minute what the price is. But I actually have the price tag for this one also. Where's the hood? Where'd the hood go? This is the hood. I mean, Tenson stuff's indestructible, man. Absolutely indestructible. But really pricey. And like I said, 600 reduced to 400, down to 200, and down to €3. And the best part of it was when we lived next door to the Sally Ann's thrift store, it was at the school that we used to live next door to. The lady who lived downstairs from us was working in the store, so she would always give me a heads up. We got some new stuff. There was one guy who would come every day, an African guy, and he would buy this stuff at the thrift store and then put it in eBay the next day for, like a rude profit. And he was just about 5 minutes. I actually bought these two on the same day. This one and the other one. Let's see. I might have it here somewhere. I'll ask her where the price is in a minute. And oh man, he freaked out when he seen I got this stuff before him. And he really kicked his ass, man. He really was not happy that he was just a little too late. But like I said, I have no problem with wearing that stuff at all, man. I really don't. And I mean, I think the only sort of stores that are thriving in this day and age are kind of thrift stores. You've got any amount of thrift stores in our city, and they vary from, Salvation Army thrift stores for charity to really, designer label thrift stores. Liam would always look at me and go, I wouldn't wear that shit. I wouldn't wear that stuff. Until he seen me with, what was it, Cavalli? I think it was called Cavalli. A top I bought, and it kind of vanished pretty quick. He took that pretty quick. And I got a, what's that other, Abercrombie and Fitch, one of these flappy ear fur caps. He took it pretty quickly also. And what was the other company I had? Cavalli, I think it was, and the other one was Moschino. Yeah, I bought like a zip hoodie from Moschino. And Liam was kind of a little bit sort of skeptical on thrift stores till he seen the sort of stuff that I was coming home with. And he wasn't going to say, hey, Dad, can I have that? It was like, can I borrow it? You never get it back. Oh, man. So much for Dublin in the rare old times. Let's see. Let me see if we can get Bonnie in the mix here. Seamus isn't here either. He's done a run or two. Let me just see if I can get my coffee warmed up. I'll just warm my coffee up and get my tobacco. I'll be right back. 1 minute. 1 minute. Hi, Cookie. You pussycat. Now, I asked her if she remembered where she put my price tag. She doesn't even remember. She says, I didn't wash it. I said, you did wash it, Bunny. I didn't remember washing it. Oh, boy. The trials, eh? You're off to bed. Okay, sidechain. Nice talking to you, too. I might be going in a moment also, actually, because it's just me, you, and I think one other person. So I think I might just call it a day also. Bonnie says, I'm just going to stay down here and watch. She's watching her favorite program, American Pickers with Seamus. So it's just me and that other special person. Blaine, thank you once again. And give our regards to your sister, will you please? Tell her we wish her the very best with her treatment in a few weeks, ma'am. I have no doubt that you are a rock in stormy times for her, so she's lucky to have you as a brother, man. It's always nice talking to you too. Okay, that's me on my own. Alrighty. There'll be no BooK pick today. Not after all. But that doesn't matter. I don't mind. Um, yeah, I'll call it a day real quick. And I shall get back on soon. I'll be on tomorrow. Private PM person. I'll chat with you in PMs in a moment. And I'll talk to you soon, Blaine. Thanks for hanging. And PM person, I'll chat with you back in the PMs. Have a good one. Have a nice night. All the best, guys. Talk soon.